The now. Now here is the full TTS ready transcript.
Welcome to the deep dive.
Yeah.
Today we're taking a look at a really interesting mix of tradition and new design. It's the Victorinox Swiss Army automatic watch.
Right?
Now, when you hear Victorinox, you probably think, multi-tools first.
Absolutely. The classic red knife.
Exactly. But they actually have quite a watchmaking background. So our mission today is simple. Pull out the key insights, maybe some surprising details about this specific watch. Give you a shortcut to understanding what makes it tick.
Yeah, and it's interesting because while the name sounds familiar, this watch actually kicks off a whole new collection for them.
The new collection.
Yeah, think of it as their sort of modern officer's watch. It's trying to bridge that gap, between being sporty and maybe a bit more dressed up.
Right.
And you'll see three versions. This automatic we're focusing on, but also a quartz and a quartz chronograph.
Yeah.
But yeah, for this deep dive, we're really zeroing in on the automatic. That's the reference 2420-4045, the blue one on the mesh bracelet. There's a black one on leather, too, 2422-2044, I think.
Right, the blue one sounds striking. So it's a new collection, but it still has that Swiss-made label. Now, sometimes that just means, assembled in Switzerland. What does it really mean for Victorinox here? Does it add real value?
Well, this is actually one of the more compelling parts. Victorinox goes beyond just meeting the minimum Swissness rules.
How so?
They actually produce more of the parts within Switzerland. And crucially, because they're experts in metal, think knives as steel cases for these watches, they make them themselves in-house.
Really? They manufacture the cases?
Yeah. That level of vertical integration, especially at this kind of price point, it's pretty rare. It means, serious quality control.
That is a strong commitment.
Yeah.
Okay, let's dig into the build then. The specs, it's what, 42 millimeters wide?
Yep, 42 wide, about 11 thick, stainless steel case, naturally. And it's rated for 100 meters water resistance.
Pretty standard, but solid. And crystal.
Sapphire crystal over the dial, flat with anti-reflective coating, and another sapphire crystal on the back showing the movement.
Oh, nice. Exhibition case back.
Exactly. And it has this cool little detail, a white outline of a Swiss Army pocket knife printed on the inside of that rear crystal.
Yeah.
Subtle touch.
I like that. And what's driving it? What's the movement inside?
It's using the Sellita SW200 automatic movement, Swiss-made, of course, reliable workhorse.
Okay, familiar movement.
Very. Beats at 4 hertz, standard 38-hour power reserve, and it's got the date window nicely positioned down at 6 o'clock.
And I saw something about anti-shock.
Yes. That's another key feature. It's ISO certified for anti-shock resistance. We believe it's likely down to a sort of rubberized ring holding the movement inside the case.
Like a shock absorber.
Basically, yeah. Helps protect it from knocks and bumps. You see that more often now, even on relatively affordable sports watches, but it's definitely a good thing to have.
For sure. A little bit of peace of mind.
Right. And it's worth mentioning, just quickly, the quartz version looks different. It has a day and date at 3 o'clock. Different dial layout, so you won't confuse them easily.
Good differentiation.
Okay.
Aesthetics.
Yeah.
Looking at it, it seems quite handsome, sort of versatile. Looks comfortable, too.
It really is. The dial has this nice texture. You've got raised Arabic numerals, that sloped inner wing. The rehilt adds some depth.
And the bezel. It's fixed, right?
Fixed bezel, yeah. With a blue anodized aluminum insert that matches the dial on this version. And there's superluminova on the hands and markers for, seeing in the dark.
It sounds good.
Yeah.
But the review mentioned some quirks. Design choices that might divide opinion.
Ah, yes. The quirks. Well, maybe quirks is strong, but definite design choices. First, the hands, the hour and minute hands. They're quite polished and they're skeletonized.
Okay.
Which looks kind of cool, maybe a bit decorative, but arguably not the most legible choice for a tool watch. Perhaps a bit too shiny sometimes.
Right. Legibility versus style.
Exactly. And the bigger point, I think, is the minute track. Or rather, the lack of one.
What do you mean? No minute markers?
Well, there are markers between the hour numerals, but if you look closely, they don't actually line up with individual minutes. There are sort of blocks or indices, but not 60 distinct marks.
Huh. That's unusual.
It is. It makes the dial look clean, definitely aesthetically pleasing, but functionally. You can't read the exact minute at a glance quite as easily. Also, older Victorinox watches often had that 24-hour scale, military time.
Yeah, I remember that.
That's gone here. So these choices definitely push it more towards stylish daily watch and slightly away from pure function first tool watch.
Interesting trade-offs. Okay,
Right.
let's talk about wearing it. That mesh bracelet, the Milanese style,
Mm.
that's a newer option for them, right? How does it feel? Is it practical?
Yeah, the Milanese is a nice touch. It actually wears really well, feels quite substantial and comfortable.
Good. Any downsides?
The clasp mechanism is a little bit finicky. It's a deployant clasp, but not like a push-button safety one. It folds over and then has a secondary folding safety lock. Works fine, just takes a second.
Okay. And sizing.
You need a small tool, like a little screwdriver, to adjust the position of the clasp on the mesh. But once you have the tool, it's easy enough to get the right fit.
X-strap changes.
Big plus here, quick-release spring bars, so swapping it for, say, the leather strap or something else is super easy.
Okay.
Just keep in mind the lug width is 21 millimeters, which is a slightly less common size than 20 or 22, so finding aftermarket straps might take a tiny bit more searching.
Good tip. Okay, so wrapping up, we have got a Victorinox Swiss Army automatic watch. It seems to blend that genuine Swiss quality, like the in-house case, the
Yeah.
anti-shock, with a pretty refined modern style.
Definitely.
It feels like an evolution for the brand, making some distinct design choices
Yeah.
that really give it its own personality.
Absolutely. And, if you think about it, considering that Victorinox heritage, the tool-making background, plus this certified anti-shock feature, but then you see these design choices like the hands, the lack of minute markers, pulling it away from pure utility.
Yeah.
It raises a question for you, the listener. How do you personally weigh those practical, almost tool watch elements against the more modern aesthetic choices in a watch you might wear every day, especially one like this, around the $1,000 mark? What's the balance that matters most to you? What really defines your ideal watch? Something to think about.